Oh man, that was creepy. This game is a trip. And hello everybody, and welcome. Today we are continuing our playthrough of the Stanley Parable, Ultra Deluxe. Alright, before we continue, let's check if the channel is running. Title and category are good. Hello, hello, hello. Continue, let's check if the channel is running. Title and category are good. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, that's my voice. That's my crazy voice. Alright, let's begin. Ultra Deluxe. The end is never the end, is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push,
I want
how
that
long
job.
to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, we got the welcome back trophy. Let's see if
All of his
anything's
co-workers
changed.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I hope we don't have to start from the beginning. Is this a mirror? 426? 456? No, it's not a mirror. There it is, new content. That's what we're doing today.
New content? What does that mean, new content?
Is that door open? Alright, new content.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After
2013.
receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Nice.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Okay.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Yeah.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
This is very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type of thing.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Huh.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Well, this is fun.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Oh. Well, we're out of jumps. Huh. Well, okay.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
All right. And so much for the new content. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Okay, I missed this room. What is this now?
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
But... oh, man.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Whoa.
Take a look.
Whoa.
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Oh my gosh.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember
Man, but I'm
back in
playing on
October of
PlayStation.
2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Oh, is that the original box? It's so plain. Cool. Oh, are these actual trophies? Don't play for 5 years? No way. Unachievable. It is impossible to get this achievement. No way. Is this really a New York Times cover? I don't believe it. Colleges show uneven effort to enroll poor. Oh my gosh. Creators surprisingly down to earth. These trees are very Life is Strange. What?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now
Good
it's
choices.
nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Oh. What's down there?
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
How do I get over there? The serious room. Oh, where do I go?
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Huh. Uh-oh.
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Pressurized Gas.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
This reminds me of Alan Wake.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable
I wonder if these are
isn't
real
quite
reviews.
as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Oh my God.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close.
Oh my
because
God.
I know you can't hear me.
Oh, Tosh, hello.
That's what I'm realizing now.
And a big peacekeeper. Salute you, Tosh.
I needed there to
Peace
be a
angels in the
vessel
chat.
through which my words
May
were
the
moving.
angels
It was
protect
the
and guide
vessel
you.
I needed,
It is
Stanley,
the
not
Stanley
outcomes,
parable.
not the story. None
And
of that
it's-
matters anymore.
It's
I'll
this
give
guy
it all up.
Stanley
I'll give up every brunch
and the narrator.
I'll burn my story to the ground.
Okay, skip
One
button.
single thing I need, and God, I...
Oh, fudge.
Oh, hello, it's you.
It puts
You're
us
here
into
again.
these
Welcome.
odd situations.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track.
It's very
after a
British
year.
humor.
Have you ever sat down
If
in
you've
one
ever
place and not
watched
moved for one entire
or
year?
read
Let me
anything like,
describe it for you. To begin with, there is
Hitchhiker's
only
Guide to the
There
Galaxy.
is only the turning wheel of missed
Kind of like Lake?
opportunities.
No.
I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place?
It's kind
is
of like
what
a
I could
Deus
only
Ex
describe
Machina
as the collapse
narrator.
of every moment I have ever experienced my
Yeah.
entire life.
You like British
All of
humor
them
for the most part?
collapsed
Cool.
down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart.
Oh no. Okay, how do we get out of this? It's kind of a puzzle game, and kind of the narrator railroading us into situations. He is narrating a lot. See, they were saying he talks too much, and then so he invented this fast forward button. Unfortunately, we fast forwarded a lot to skip his dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in this game. What time is it? Yeah, this is the second part of the game I'm playing. What I mean is the second stream. If you want to catch up on the earlier one, it's on YouTube. Okay, skip. Fudge. Fudge. Now what? Yeah, so we kind of just have to figure out what's going on in these random situations. Fast forward.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world.
It sounds like
As though there were
Sherlock
no
a bit,
consequences for a
basically
lack of
talking to
cohesion in
himself,
one's assessment
but
of
he's
others.
really
But of
not.
course,
Yeah.
absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now
He's
it
talking to
simply
someone
has to
that
happen.
railroads the
The
conversation.
most
True.
immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every
Fast
person.
forward. Oh man. Let's just make sure nothing has changed. What? Now there's water. Your impatience is gonna make you miss pertinent information. That's what the skip button is for, Tosh.
The end is never the end, 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 is never
It's
the
like a
end, is
weird
never the
psychological
end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never
like
the end, is never the end, is never
test.
the end, is never the end, is never
Fudge.
the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end,
Tree is
never
dead
the
too.
end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
What the heck was that? Yeah, it's basically insanity is what this game is. That was literally someone saying that over and over on a loop. Yeah. Fudge. How much time is passing? Well, I know. That's why we have the emotage. Alright. A lot of time has passed. See, that's what you don't use the skip button for. It's the only thing to interact with in here. Okay. Fudge. I miss the narrator. So you just listen to him monologuing for hundreds of hours? Do that? Well, just on this level. There's a lot of other situations. It starts off with you in your office at this corporation. And for some reason, no one is at work. And no one else is around. It's kind of like the Rapture. And you're trying to figure out what's happening. Uh-oh. Oh man, that sounds like aliens. Fudge! Well now. Oh, that's no good. That's not good. I want to stay in the room. I just want to stay in the room, Stanley. You gotta do some night stuff before chill out. I don't know. Okay, now I missed the narrator and the room. You know, it's kind of like, what is that thing? You know how they talk about, I think it's like the bird cage, how you live in the bird cage, but then like, if you keep a bird in there for long enough, even if you open the door, it won't fly out. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Oh, okay. This is where we start the game. This is our office, and no one is here. Alright, Tosh. If you have to do night stuff, I'll probably still be here.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. This is how the game starts, and then it branches into different things. New content. Okay. Before it just said new content. Alright, let's...
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okay. What are we gonna see there, dude? New content. Yeah, because we kind of finished the main story on the first
You see,
stream.
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be.
Yeah.
The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh. Alright.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
All right. Then the end is never the end again. All right. Investor Showcase.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Yeah. I like the new office. They're back. 2 doors. Okay. More the Stanley Parable. Better the Stanley Parable. Win-win. Sequential. Mind share. 2. Paradigm shift. Synergy. Brick and mortar approach. Envelope client-centric marketing. The color red. Leverage holistic value. Yeah. This is marketing. Cool, cool. I like the branding. Oh, 2 Stanleys.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
All right. All right, cool. We're getting somewhere. This way to the show floor. Man, this reminds me of when I went to New York Comic Con. Oh, well, this is nice. And then they would have like premiere stuff. Wow, that's a display.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Reassurance bucket. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Really? Chincha? There's a lot to look at here. What is this? Please, no screenshots. Ah.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Happy 12th birthday, Stephanie's. That's kind of weird, dude. Alright, get well someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy
Fudge.
12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Alright, don't take my feedback. Oh, now it's everywhere.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Okay. Free. New easy trophy. I can't believe it's that simple. Get it here. Free trophy. Pull the lever, receive your new trophy. No more steps. It just works. Okay, get yours now.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Why are we in this basement? Oh no, this is not. These are delivery trucks. Alright, test trophy locked.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Okay. I want it to work. I guess there's no way.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Can you find them? Okay. Collect them all.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Nice. 1 of 6.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
You are here. Complex. The jump circle is still here. N. Free trophy. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Do we have that? Oh no, we enter through here. Wait a minute, we missed something. Hear your name in the game. Alright.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Cool.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Yeah, let's take a break from that. What happens if we press it again?
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Oh. Alright. Oh, man. This is some weird psychological manipulation.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable too. That would actually save me the work of finishing this
You
feature.
heard Jim in the game. What's this?
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Reassurance bucket. We saw that one. Ah.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Ah. Okay. Let's see. Where's the reassurance bucket? Oh, merch. Sure. QR code. Ain't no way I'm scanning that.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Ooh.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
Oh.
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they?
Yeah.
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
I love the bucket. Thank you.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Infinite hole. Wait. Oh, this is the collectible. Oh. This is where those Pacific Rim monsters came from.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
It's okay, I've got the reassurance bucket.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so.
Huh.
Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
I thought it's infinite.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Oh.
Is it a very, very deep hole?
Oh.
To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Fudge.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever.
Yeah.
Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
What happens if I just stay here? Oh man, nothing happens. Okay, back to the surface.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
Yeah.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now
no.
you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
No! Well, at least I have the bucket. Huh. Huh. Oh. Well, this is something. I'm so glad I have the reassurance bucket. Change your perspective. Wow. Change your perception. Oh, that's trippy. I don't like that at all. Change your reality.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them.
It's only
Stay
like a
alert,
foot
Stanley.
deep.
I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
All right. The end is never the end is never the end. Okay, 1 hour. Let's take a quick break. I'm Quick break. BRB. Alright, grab a snack, grab a drink, stretch, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Let me open up this Diet Pepsi. There we go. Okay. Reassurance bucket. Love it.
Here we are. Go on. try out some of the new features.
Yeah, Jim. No screenshots. Red is the new orange. What is that beeping? That's that weird sound you sometimes hear on old cell phones. Let's play the game. Jump circle. Mostly infinite hole. We've done that one. Office decorations, we did this. Mostly infinite. The Stanley Parable and Reassurance Bucket. We did this. Is there another one? No. This design reminds me of something. And I don't know what it is. It's like, I'm thinking something like Superman? Or Star Trek? I forget. Alright, we've done all those. We did the free new trophy. We did the jump circle. Fine, it ended. Okay. We did infinite hole. Huh, that's new. Merch. Settings, World Champion. We tried to get to that, but it was closed. Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. We did that. Office decorations. Epilogue. Collectibles. Infinite hole. Exit. E. We are here. Exit. Why is it closed? Oh, you have to go through this way.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yeah. What's all
So,
this?
Stanley,
Fudge.
what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I I suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Haha, new title screen. Whoa.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All right.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So the balloons are new.
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up. Why was he not doing it?
Where? I want the bucket. I want the reassurance bucket. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
All right, I am reassured.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, entered the door on his left.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Oh man. All right.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Is it going to be exactly the same? Just with the bucket?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Oh, jeez.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh man. Okay. Oh, let's see what's new. Oh man, I'm starting to doze though.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I love the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Well, everything will be okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
So
Stanley
besides
and
the
bucket both
narration,
wondered
it's
to
the same thing.
themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this,
no.
and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Oh, what are we supposed to do again? Here.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to
No.
do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does
The
a
bucket
bucket
is
want
awesome.
to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
There we go.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped?
Yeah.
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Oh. Alright, I'm sure there's more to explore.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it here. This thing hurts my brain. What is this, an hour and a half stream? I don't know if I'm gonna come back on tonight. Maybe, or I might just lie down. Alright, if you enjoyed this live or as a past broadcast, please consider giving me a follow and making a new friend. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. I need subscribers badly. So please help me out. And check me out when I'm live here on Twitch. And we can chat about the games and stuff. And to all my peacekeepers out there, especially Tosh, a big peacekeeper salute to you all. Peace angels in the chat. May the angels protect and guide you. Alright, I'll see you next time, everyone. Peace.